Okay, so you ever just go down like these internet rabbit holes? Like you just start with a simple Google search and like 3 hours later, you're like down this whole rabbit hole of like fan theories. And you're like, wait, Iron Man's in the quantum realm, right? Like that's totally a thing.
Right.
And that's kind of where I am with all this Spider-Man and Venom stuff that you sent.
Yeah.
And specifically this Knull character.
Yeah, it's really remarkable how quickly that theory caught fire online.
Right.
It really speaks to how invested fans are in those characters and where they go next.
Totally. And like everyone wants to see their favorite heroes pushed to their limits, right?
Absolutely.
And this Knull guy, he's like, from what I'm reading in the comics, not messing around.
No.
So for those of us who haven't had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Knull in the comic books, what can you tell us?
So imagine, if you will, a being fueled by the very essence of the symbiotes.
Oh.
Pure primordial darkness. He's like the ultimate cosmic horror movie monster,
Really?
capable of consuming entire planets.
Oh, wow.
We're talking a level of dread like Ridley Scott's Alien, but on a universal scale.
Whoa, hold on. So Knull makes Thanos look weak?
It's not just about raw power. Knull is ancient, even older than the symbiotes themselves.
Okay.
He represents a fundamental force of destruction, a kind of cosmic counterpart to Spider-Man's sense of responsibility.
Okay, so we're dealing with a serious heavy hitter here. All right, so let's get into these rumors. We've got whispers from all corners of the internet, cryptic teases, like speculative articles, like we're talking the whole 9 yards here. What's the general consensus? What has everyone so riled up?
It seems like the general consensus is that Knull might be the big bad in Spider-Man 4,
Okay.
potentially squaring off against both Spider-Man and Venom.
Now that's what I call a showdown.
Absolutely.
All right, so you've got those cryptic hints from Cryptic HD. Then you've got Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus with a whole article dedicated to this.
And let's not forget those intriguing tweets by Daniel RPK suggesting that Knull's story might extend beyond just a single Spider-Man film.
So we've got a potential multiverse-level threat, a Spider-Man and Venom team-up. This is starting to sound like a cinematic event, but before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break down these rumors one by one. What are the specifics here?
Well, Alex Perez's article over the Cosmic Circus is a good place to start. He suggests that Marvel initially wanted to keep Spider-Man 4 a bit more grounded.
Which makes sense, right? After the whole multiversal adventure in No Way Home, going back to street-level stuff could be a nice change of pace.
Exactly. Perez even suggests that there were discussions about bringing in Daredevil to team up with Spider-Man against Kingpin. But then
Oh, there's always a but, isn't there?
there is. Perez suggests that Marvel might be hitting pause on that idea in favor of something bigger.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. What kind of bigger are we talking about?
Bigger as in cosmic level threat, bigger.
Oh, okay.
Perez suggests that Knull's arrival could turn Spider-Man 4 into a multiversal roller coaster.
Okay.
And he speculates that Venom might be along for the ride.
All right, I am officially down this rabbit hole. Tell me everything.
Well, the idea is that by the end of Venom 3, Eddie Brock could end up in the main MCU through, you guessed it, some multiversal shenanigans.
Of course.
Knull, sensing his connection to the symbiote, follows him through. And boom, instant crossover event.
Okay, I see where this is going, and I'm here for it. But why Spider-Man 4?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make more sense for Knull to be the big bad in, like, Venom 3?
That's where Daniel RPK's tweets come in.
Mm-hmm.
He argues quite logically that a world-ending threat like Knull doesn't quite fit the vibe of Venom 3, especially if it's meant to be the final solo Venom film.
Right, it'd be like ordering an appetizer after the main course.
Exactly.
You'd want to build up to the big event.
Precisely. It makes more narrative sense for Venom 3 to set the stage for Knull's grand entrance in Spider-Man 4, giving him the space and attention a villain of his stature deserves.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So we've got these rumors, these tantalizing clues, but how credible are they really?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Cryptic HT, while known for, dropping these little hints, has also been known to, miss the mark from time to time.
Right.
And Daniel RPK, while generally reliable, does deal in a lot of speculation.
So you're saying we should take all this with a grain of salt. Don't go pre-ordering those Team Spidey and Venom versus the Knull Void Funko Pops just yet.
Exactly. Until we get official confirmation from Marvel or Sony, it's best to approach this with a healthy dose of skepticism.
That's fair. But even hypothetically, wouldn't putting a villain like Knull in a Spider-Man movie be, I don't know, a lot? I mean, we're talking about a guy who eats planets for breakfast.
Right.
Doesn't that kind of clash with the whole friendly neighborhood Spider-Man thing.
That is a major concern. And it highlights the delicate balancing act Sony and Marvel will have to achieve.
Right.
One minute, Peter's worrying about college applications. The next, he's staring down a being that makes Galactus, that giant purple guy who hungers for planets,
Yeah.
look like a minor inconvenience.
Okay, I'll admit, I'm not super up to date on my planet-eating cosmic entities.
Well, let's just say Galactus is a big deal on the cosmic side of Marvel. But you're right. There's a real risk of tonal whiplash.
Totally.
And then there's the potential for what I call villain fatigue.
Villain fatigue. Is that like when I binge watch too many true crime documentaries?
Not exactly. We're already getting Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
And then potentially again in Secret Wars. Does introducing another big bad like Knull so soon after Thanos, does it diminish the impact?
Right, because part of what made Thanos so effective was that he was built up over several movies.
Exactly. Knull needs to feel unique, not just a rehash of previous villains.
Plus, let's be real, the Venom movies haven't exactly set the world on fire.
Right.
Can Sony really handle a character as complex and potentially nuanced as Knull?
That's another valid concern. There's always that risk of him becoming another Gore the God Butcher.
You mean like a cool concept that doesn't quite land in the execution?
Precisely. The potential is there, but it all hinges on how Sony and Marvel choose to use him.
Okay, I get it. Lots of potential pitfalls. But let's play optimist for a minute.
Okay.
What are the positives here? What has you, the resident expert, excited about this possibility?
Putting aside my reservations about Sony's track record for a moment, the prospect of seeing Spider-Man and Venom teaming up on the big screen is undeniably thrilling.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's comic book gold right there.
Oh, yeah.
Two iconic characters with such a rich history finally sharing the screen in a meaningful way.
Absolutely. And then there's the sheer scale of what Knull represents. This isn't just about saving New York City or even the planet. We're talking about a threat to the very fabric of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
A threat that could potentially reshape everything we think we know about these characters and their world.
Exactly. It's the kind of high-stakes storytelling that could redefine these franchises for years to come.
Okay, now you're getting me excited again.
Right.
But I also hear the caution in your voice.
Because while the potential is there for something truly special, it all comes down to execution. Sony and Marvel need to find a way to balance the cosmic horror of Knull with the grounded, character-driven storytelling that defines these franchises.
And maybe, just maybe, avoid falling into the trap of relying too heavily on fan service at the expense of a cohesive and compelling narrative.
Wise words.
Yeah.
But I think what's most important here, and what I hope you take away from this, is that these stories, these characters, they mean something.
Yeah.
They spark debate, they ignite our imaginations, and they force us to confront big questions about good, evil, and the nature of power.
You know, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, whether these rumors pan out or not is almost beside the point.
Right.
It's the conversation itself, this engagement with the characters and stories we love, that's so exciting.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, where do Spider-Man and Venom go from here? Are they destined to be forever linked, or will they eventually forge their own distinct paths?
That's the billion-dollar question, right? It's like trying to predict the ending of a comic book run. Like, anything is possible.
Right.
But I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
We've got this cosmic horror element with Knull and the symbiotes.
Right.
Maybe that connection runs deeper than we think.
Here's something to consider in the comics. The symbiotes in Knull, by extension, they're tied to the very fabric of the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
They represent a primordial darkness that's always been there.
Right.
A constant threat lurking beneath the surface.
Okay, now that is giving me chills. It's not just about punching bad guys anymore.
Right.
It's about this creeping sense of dread. This ancient evil that could, like, unravel reality as we know it.
Precisely. Imagine a slow burn approach.
Okay.
Where each encounter with the symbiote,
Right.
whether it's Venom, Carnage, or some new creation,
Right.
it chips away at the veil, revealing glimpses of this unknowable evil.
So even if Knull doesn't show up, like, swinging a planet-sized axe,
Right.
this whole symbiote connection opens the door for some serious cosmic horror vibes in future movies.
Absolutely.
That's a game changer.
Absolutely. And it allows for a different kind of storytelling.
Right.
One that taps into primal fears and explores the darker corners of the Marvel Universe.
You know, what's fascinating to me is how this all connects to a larger trend in superhero movies.
Yeah.
We're seeing more and more studios exploring these cosmic horror elements.
It's definitely a trend. And I think it speaks to a desire for stories that go beyond the typical superhero formula.
Right.
Audiences are hungry for something, deeper, more unsettling.
It's like we've seen the heroes punch their way out of like a lot of interdimensional crises.
Right.
Now it's time to face something truly ancient.
Yeah.
Something that might not be defeated with brute force alone.
Exactly. It's about confronting our fears of the unknown.
Right.
The things that go bump in the night, even on a cosmic scale.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. We've got rumors, speculation, and a whole lot of potential for the future of Spider-Man, Venom, and maybe even the entire MCU.
Absolutely.
What a time to be a fan.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And it highlights something crucial about these stories. They're not just mindless entertainment. They spark debate, they fuel our imaginations, and they connect us to something larger than ourselves.
Well said. So, to everyone listening, keep those theories coming. Keep exploring those rabbit holes of speculation.
Okay.
And remember, sometimes the most exciting discoveries are the ones we make together.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep.